The most common question that we are asked about our glove range is, what is the difference between a glove and a pull-up grip? Obvious just by looking at it. There are two grips together, which forms a glove. For all four fingers go into the glove. It's got maximum coverage of your palm section with a slightly thicker inset in the middle where they cross over. This is going to protect your hands across every pad on your palm. So depending on your grip when you're doing pull-ups compared to a snatch grip when you're doing barbell movements, you are not going to rip on either side. You'll be covered for the whole time. Once again, to see how to size a glove when they come out of the packet, before you cut them, best thing to do is to lay it on your hand as such with the wrist strap at the base of your palm. If your glove goes up to, we're looking at where the V is, if that reaches the base in your middle finger, that's a perfect size for you. Okay, so they are going to stretch. Next step is to cut your finger holes in. When they're new, they should have little nicks in them, which will give you a starting point to size your grips. We always suggest that you leave your finger holes attached by around about that much at the bottom to avoid creating a large hole, and it will reveal a little V section along here on your hand, and you will still get blisters and rips and tears in there. So to avoid that, always leave them attached a little bit at the bottom. Sharp pair of scissors, put it into the little incision that's already there, and gently cut, leaving the bottom attached. Now sometimes you may find, depending on the particular machinist who's manufactured these grips for you, there may be a little bit of a tiny bit to cut at the top as well. Okay, so just be aware of that. Little fluffy bits, cut them off or leave them depending on what your preference is, and repeat for each finger hole. We'll just go ahead and quickly do that. Just try not to cut the stitching with your scissors, because if the stitching is cut, they'll unravel and they won't last as long as they should, the finger holes. Alright, pop them on, each finger, each hole. Now they're going to be tight at the start, which is what we want, because if you create too big a hole, you can't go back from there. If you find you haven't cut them enough, which I could cut these to a little bit more, I'll go back and do that in a minute. Pull it down, wrap it around, and away you go. Don't forget to use chalk. Chalk's important. They're going to be soft and silky when you first use them. The more you sweat on them, the better. So if you need to wash them, gentle hand wash in cold water, or just let the sweat and the chalk build up and the grip will be great. Happy wadding!